Alright, so it's Tuesday. Tomorrow's Game 6. I just wanted to come on and talk about a couple of things. At the end of the video, I'll talk about some of the things that are going to come up. They may change now that I got 1,000 subscribers, but I'll get to that at the end of the video, so that's only for the people that are interested there. Alright, so a funny thing happened. I was trying to put together some salary cap numbers and see different ways that we might be able to do things. And I come up on Sport Track, which is a pretty highly reliable website that gives you contract numbers and everything. Except they have Ryan Lomberg gets $7.2 million a year instead of $725,000 a year. And when you list it out on the team, it's like, you know, it's like Bob, Huberto, Barkov, Hornquist, Ryan Lomberg, and then everybody else is like, what? So I clicked on the player, and of course, it's $725,000 a year. But for a minute, I was like, what the hell? Nobody's talking about this. Ryan Lomberg's making $7.2 million. So I tweeted at them. I'm sure they'll get it corrected. If you ever go to that page, Ryan Lomberg is not making $7.2 million. All right, but if any team was going to give him $7.2 million, that's the team that would. All right. So, what a beautiful mess we have, and a beautiful mess it is. Now, what goes on the offseason, this is the point of the video. Whatever's going to happen during the offseason is changing like the wind right now, and especially with whatever's going to happen in these next couple of games. Now, if Spencer Knight, 1-4 games in the regular season, comes out tomorrow, came out last night, stone cold, beautiful. Game 6, not so much, not so great. We lose, series is over. You're still looking at a situation where you're like, okay, Bob's the guy, and you're going to play Knight next year, maybe 30 games. Okay? He's obviously ready to be an NHL backup at the very least. If Spencer Knight decides to go, full Vasilevsky or full, Murray from a few years ago with Pittsburgh, if Spencer Knight decides 20, 25, what's the difference? I'm ready, and pulls this series out, at the very least next year we've officially got, they're going to make it a goalie competition, but in reality, we have a $10 million backup goaltender. I was looking at the salaries and everything. I was trying to find ways where my brain could comprehend how can we make it okay to have a $10 million backup goaltender. Now, Knight is making more than Drieger. Drieger's not even making $1 million a year. So that dude, he wants to get paid, right? He's 27. This is his contract. And it sucks for him because it's going to be a flat cap. So there's not going to be as much money out there as he normally would have gotten. The name on the roster that, don't be surprised, okay? Because we all talk about we have to try to get with Yandle and get him to waive his no-move clause. We all talk about Strowman. The name on the roster that's eating up some cap space that I'm not so sure is really worth it. Some of you are going to cringe on this, but that's Patrick Hornquist, okay? He's eating up a lot of cap space. He's a good player, but I hate to say this, but is he going to be worth that money? Is he worth, I think it's either 5.5 or 6.5 on the cap hit. We're going to have to get creative here. Now, the first thing that's going to obviously have to happen is I don't care if we win the Cup. Well, I do care. But even if we win the Cup, the first conversation in the offseason is with Keith Yandle and saying, dude, you have to waive your no-move clause. Now, that's not just specifically to move him, okay? Let's say Yandle decides to play okay. And we go on a run here. We win a round, 2 rounds. Win the Cup. Let's just play. If we're playing pretend, let's pretend we get to the finals, okay? And we say, look, Yandle, we're going to keep you, and we're even going to play you. But we need you to restructure. We need you to waive that no-move clause so that we can protect somebody else. That somebody else, I was looking at the salary cap. You know who makes the least amount of money on the team? Gustav Forsling is making the least amount of money on the team. and he doesn't have a contract after this year. So Seattle is going to be salivating there. Either Forsling or Drieger. All right? And I know we don't want to lose the choice. So we've got spatial issues when it comes to this expansion draft. All right? So, look, any of you guys that are in a relationship, you know how negotiations work. Okay? You're like, all right, look, I will give this up if you will stop complaining about this. I will be okay with this if you let me have this. Don't kill the messenger here. Don't shoot the messenger here. Hornquist does not have a no-move clause. Yandle does. We may end up having to tell Yandle, look, here's the deal. Let's restructure. Let's get you into an acceptable cap number without a no-move clause, so we can expose you to Seattle, because we know Seattle's not going to take you the Yandle. That will do two things. That's going to free up some space, okay, and we'll keep your streak alive, and that buys us one extra player that we can protect in the expansion draft. And I can't believe I'm making this video. I didn't know exactly how it was going to turn out. I'm literally making why we should maybe kind of possibly consider the possibility of keeping Keith Yandle video. Ouch, I can see the thumbs down right now. But look, this is business, guys, okay? This is not who I want to keep. This is looking at, we have a $10 million backup goaltender. If Spencer Knight wins the next 2 games, we officially have a $10 million backup goaltender. Unless he wants so badly to play that he's going to waive his no-move clause, and we're still going to have to eat salary. Even if he waives this no-move, and we find a way, another team be like, hey, you want this guy? 33, 10 million. We're going to have to eat half of his salary, okay, to make him attractive to another team. Because another team might look and be like, all right, Bob, at 5, at 5 times 5, all right, not so bad. We weren't thinking we're going to win a cup. We just want to have a decent team. All right, sure, bring him over. But Bob has to be willing to go at the same point. So we might be stuck with a $10 million backup goaltender. Now, we have Spencer Knight on his entry level till 2023. So then I went and I looked at Vasilevsky. And I said, okay, because if Spencer Knight keeps playing like this, Spencer Knight is going to turn into Vasilevsky. All right? Do you see what I'm saying? Now, Vasilevsky played for a few years, and then in 2019, after we signed Bob, he got like this massive, I think it's an 8-year extension, 9.5 per. So he's just under Bob's 10, but basically they have Vasilevsky locked up until he's 34 years old, which is about when you don't really want to be committed to your goaltender, which is why getting rid of Bob is just, what a freaking beautiful, disastrous mess. So, I hate to be the bearer of this. I don't want this to be true. But I'm looking at it like, okay, we got to re-sign Huberdeau long term. We got to re-sign, Barkov. We got to extend Barkov long term. Okay? Bennett is the key. Carter Verhaeghe has not impressed me during this playoffs. I know he's had a hell of a year, but we can only pay so many guys. So we have a problem there. That's number one, okay? Now, if we can convince Yandle, hey, let's split up this money. We'll give you 2 more years at 3.5, okay? Buy ourselves 4. Hornquist is at least 5.5. I can't remember if it's 5.5 or it's 6.5, but let's say it's 5.5. If we can eat 4 off of Yandle and he agrees and we keep him, and Skadoodle somehow throw in Hornquist in the deal and jettison him, which I don't want to do, but somewhere, somehow, we're going to have to do some things that we're like, geez. All right? It's happening regardless, so you have to look at the pros and cons here. If we can somehow do that, get rid of Hornquist and cut Yandle's salary in half, in exchange, we'll tell him, we'll keep your streak alive, but we got to get rid of this no-move clause so we can buy another player that we don't have to lose to Seattle. We don't have to expose somebody else to Seattle. If anybody can do it, Zito can do it. And look, those are moves I don't really want to do, but at the same point, you start looking around and you say, like I said, you know, we've got these guys we have to extend. Bennett is not making a ton of money. We're going to have to extend him. Okay? Drager going to get paid. Is he going to, you know, he's in this position where, does he want to go one more year? But he can't. There's no way for us to sign him to anything. And that's the bottom line. Now with the emergence of Spencer Knight, that has flipped the script again. Because earlier in the season, you kind of thought maybe Drieger might be willing to say sign for one more year because the following year he'll be able to get more money because the cap is going to go up. But with Spencer Knight, we're not going to pay Drieger to be number 3, right? And Spencer Knight is Spencer Knight at the very worst is ready to be an NHL backup goaltender, and Bob is not getting any younger. So we have a mess. So I'm trying to emotionally and mentally prepare my Panther brethren. There's going to be, when you have a mess, there's messy things that happen that you don't want to happen. And I'm looking at the product on the ice as far as what we have next year. If you keep Achari, you keep Lomberg, you keep Mason Marchment, you know, Hornquist is going to be expendable. And he's eating up a lot of money. All right? Do not be surprised in the least to see him as like an addition to like having to package some kind of assets to scoot him out of town. I hate to say it, but it might happen. I know he scored last night. I don't want to lose Hornquist, but we're losing at least one, if not 2 people during this all season that we don't want to lose, and we're keeping at least 1, if not 2 people that, geez, we don't want to keep. Regardless of what we do, that's the reality of our off season. So we have to pick and choose. We have to pick and choose. If we can turn the fact that we're stuck with Yandle into a positive for us, then that's a positive, okay? Long term, obviously, we have this issue with Bob. At some point, somehow, some way, we're going to have to convince him to move on somewhere else, and we're going to have to eat half his salary. If we can lose Hornquist, all right, you see what I'm saying? If we can lose Hornquist and really not have too much of an effect on the on-ice product, all right, and use that cap space to split with Bob's contract with another team, now we have the same team we have now, with the exception of Bob is gone and Hornquist is gone, and I'm good with that. I'm good with that. That is a way. That is a winning lineup, and then we just need a backup goaltender to Spencer Knight, and we could pick one of those up. And I know that we got there's still money we're gonna have to spend on a backup goaltender. I get that. It's a beautiful disaster wrapped up in a mess, wrapped up in a big bag of doggy doo-doo. And it's Dale Talon combined with Tom Rowe. Combined with Tom Rowe, we are still paying for those mistakes, and we're gonna keep paying for another at least 2 to 3 years unless Zito can pull off some ridiculous magic. And don't leave out Anton Strawman, who now the rest of the regular season we were like, get rid of this guy, and now in the playoffs it's like, well, crap. He's kind of saving our ass a little bit. He's playing well now that we've lost Ekblad. But then you look at the numbers and you say, well, when Ekblad comes back, Ekblad, Weegar, Forsling, Gudis, you got a bottom pair, right? Is your bottom pair going to be Strawman and Yandle every night? No, but if you got to promise Yandle you're going to play, I mean, it's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And we're going to have to... There's going to be at least one season, and it's going to be next year, and maybe 2, where we're just not quite as good as we could be. It's unfortunate because of these contracts. Unless Zito just pulls off like the most magical off-season ever in Panther history, and NHL history. Okay, let's just call it what it is before we get to the end of the video. If he somehow pulls off getting rid of Strawman, Yandle, and Bob in this offseason, GM of the millennia, okay? In all 4 sports. We'll leave it at that. All right. Last thing I want to say, this is about the channel. I hit 1,000 subscribers, 1,010 now. So I think we're safe until if we beat Tampa in Game 7, and then I'm sure the 30 Tampa Bay fans that subscribed will unsubscribe. And hopefully, by then, I'll be over the 1,000 enough. So I stay over the 1,000. But to answer a couple of questions, no, I cannot monetize just yet, and here's why. 1,000 subscribers, requirement number 1. Requirement number 2, 4,000 watch time hours over the last year. And YouTube does not count the live streams as watch hours. YouTube does not count any material that is copyrighted by somebody else as watch hours. So, any video where I used film from the NHL, any video that I used a song, even a 10-20 second clip of another song in an intro doesn't count. Alright? So, right now my watch hours, it's going to sound worse than it is, so just hear me out. Right now in the last year, my watch hours is 2.6 thousand. I need to get that up to 4,000. Now, there's a big gap there because there was last season, there was off season, there was the time I didn't do the videos, and then there's this season. If you look at my analytics of just how many hours of watch time I'm getting during regular hockey season, not counting playoffs, during the regular season, I'm still on I'm on pace for like 6,000 watch hours in the course of a year. So, that dead space is what's killing me right now. So, I'm going to continue to make daily content as much as I can. Alright? That's number 1. Number 2, if you guys find a recap that you particularly liked, you know, and there's nothing in there that could be copyrighted, it's just my stuff, and it doesn't kill your Wi-Fi to put it on repeat in the background for a couple of hours while you're doing something else, that actually counts. That counts. The live stream doesn't count towards watch time. But if you watch the same video without really even watching it 5 times, that counts as watch time. Don't ask me, but these are YouTube's rules. Alright, so if you want to help out that way, you're sitting around one night, you got nothing else to do, you watch a movie, you know, you put one of my videos on mute, just let it loop and loop and loop and loop. That actually helps my watch time. Whatever, man. These are the rules. Alright, last thing is, well, 2 things. Number 1, yes, I'm going to be moving to Miami Dolphins content. I'm not going to be doing any less hockey content. Don't even think about it. Don't even worry about it. So if anybody is subscribed to the channel just for the hockey, please do not unsubscribe because you see Dolphins content. If I'm going to make any kind of real money doing this, I have to do both. There's no way, because the only other option I have is to be a complete NHL channel, and I just don't watch enough of the other NHL games to be educated enough about all of the other teams like the hockey guy. The dude, I guarantee you, hockey guy, and I mean this with no disrespect, he can't have any life outside of watching hockey. I mean, he posts videos recapping every game. I can't imagine. I mean, it's just, and I say that at a mad respect for the dude. I have no idea how he does it, with the exception of, I guarantee you, if you had a personal conversation with him, he'd be like, this is my life. I do nothing else. Every once in a while, I go upstairs and I eat, and I take a leak, and then I come back down and I watch hockey and make videos. That's just his life, which, congrats to him, no complaint. But, for me, I have to, I have to have other things that I do. So, I'm going to be doing Dolphins content. I'm not going to make the first Dolphins video, with the exception of I am going to do a Dolphins schedule prediction video here in the next few days. But once Panther season is over, I'm going to take 3 days off to cry, and then I will start doing some football content. Please do not unsubscribe because you see football content. If you like the football content, obviously that's good. If you're only here for the hockey, please, again, I'm not going to be doing any less hockey stuff. I might be even doing more, because if I get monetized and I actually start making a couple dollars, I will do more. So if you leave, it hurts. I'm just going to be honest about that. So please, if you see a football video, you don't want to watch it, just exit out. It's not a big deal, okay? So I appreciate that. Last thing is, when I do monetize, which I expect, what is it? It's well, let's put it this way. If the Panthers win a round or two, it's going to come sooner than later. But if we don't win this series, June, July, probably by the time football season starts, please, 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 by then, if I can get the watch time up, I'm going to find some creative ways to make some videos you guys want to watch. That might be a little bit long, so I can get that watch time up and get monetized. When that happens, I promise a couple of things. Number one, the only time you will see ads are at the beginning of the video, and you can skip over it. That's number one. Okay, number two, you know those little pop-up banner ads that sometimes you have to click? If I cannot control when those go into the videos, I will not put them in. If I can control where they get put into the videos, I will insert them into the part in the intermission part where it's the subtitles, and I play the little song and I give the subtitle. I will insert that there, okay, so that it doesn't really interrupt the content. It's just that one little part. But I will not put in the middle of the video any regular kind of ad where the video stops playing and you have to skip over it to get the video to play. I will not do that. There'll be an ad at the beginning, okay? But in the middle of the video, I won't do that. I hate that. I have said from the beginning, if I ever get monetized, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. It costs me money to not do that, by the way. So if anybody felt like joining the Patreon, or if once I'm monetized, I can do a super chat, that's awesome. But out of respect for you guys, the viewers, I will not do that. All right, and I know some people put one like right at the very end. I don't know, man. To me, that's kind of cheesy. I mean, it's a cheap way to make an extra buck on my end, but at the same point, that you guys now have to click that video off to get whatever you want to watch next to play. I don't like that either. Right at the beginning, click it off after the 5 seconds, and then boom, we get into the video. All right. So anybody that was concerned about I'm gonna pop a bunch of ads in there because I'm broke, no, I'm gonna beg for the Patreon and super chat because I'm broke. But I'm not gonna inundate you guys with ads. So that's different. I give you guys the choice. You wanna hang out and help? That's great. If not, that's still great. You can hang out. But I'm not gonna inundate you guys with ads. I hate that when other people do it, and so I pledge not to do that. All right, that's enough yibber yabbering. Tomorrow, Game 6. Friday, Game 7, and then we figure out who we're playing over the weekend. I'm not even considering any other options other than that. So you know the shape I'm going to be in if something else happens. But I'm just telling you right now, you guys know I can talk all the shit I want about the series is over, but you guys know for me, I'm going to be like hanging from the rafters that it's not over until that freaking last horn blows. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.